Hey gang, this is Mr. Schmidt for Environmental Science for October 1st. I had a number of technical issues. I know a couple of you did as well. So this is a recap of talking about today's assignment about creating your eco column for your biodome project. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at here is terrestrial biodomes. Then we'll look at our biodome instructions, and then finally you can watch a copy of the Biomes instructions video here. All right, so starting at the beginning here, what we see is this nice chart, shows how average temperature and annual precipitation influences what biome exists, okay? You could also argue that altitude or how high up a mountain is will affect things. So what we're trying to do today is students will be able to explain how biomes are categorized. All right, the first one we're looking at when we're looking at ours, okay, I'm going to be referencing my little ecodome or eco column here. The first one gets very little moisture, so that is probably going to mimic deserts that get less than 12 inches of precipitation a year. Those are found in every continent. That includes, there's some argument that the Arctic and the Antarctic is a desert because it gets less than 12 inches of total snowfall moisture a year. Okay, it can get lots of snow and snow drifts, but when you take in all the water, less than 12 inches. Okay, so one extreme is the subtropical deserts like the Death Valley, can go up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And then cold deserts like the Gobi can go down to negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit on a cold winter night. So in any desert, the amount of vegetation and animal diversity is going to be very low because of such the low and unpredictable precipitation. So that's what we expect to see in our first column, is there's going to be very little vegetation and hopefully no animals present in our little desert here. Okay, our next column, we expect to see something closer to a grassland. Grasslands that get 10 to 30 inches of rain a year. They're found throughout Central North America and Eurasia. They have pronounced fluctuations in temperatures. So if you think about places like North Dakota, it could have a very warm summer day, but super cold winter night, right? As we use our columns, they're going to be inside your house. So those will stay well within the boundaries of fluctuations. Okay, the reason why I think it's going to be our best approximation for our plants is because it has a specific growing season, and it'll probably be mimicked in our eco columns here. Okay, I referred to the bottom layer as marine, but marine layers are really only salt water. This is going to be a freshwater biozone or biome for our experiment. All right, so if you're thinking about natural freshwater environments, they can be from a tiny pond that's just a few square meters to the Great Lakes, which is thousands of square kilometers. Okay, regardless, those freshwater areas almost always range from 22 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, 0 degrees Celsius would be all frozen, but that's where the temperature limit ends. When we look at our specific area, it's going to be the topmost layer of a typical pond. So that's the littoral zone, okay? And that freshwater's topmost zone near the shores or lake or pond. And it's typically this warmest since it's shallow, can absorb the sun's heat, and sustains a fair amount of diversity within the community. So that's what we hope to see in our little environment as well. Okay, so we see those spread all across the world in different categories here. All right, now if we move over to the different biomes and our instructions here. Okay, so this is our goal, that someone who's done this many times posted this to the internet, and they have a nice, beautiful, 3-layered bottle biosphere or eco column. And we're going to try to make something approximating this in our class. So first of all, I had listed ingredients based on the August store availability. And some people saw the email at the beginning of the school year and they bought those ingredients, and that is ideal. But if you're going out shopping this weekend, you're not going to be able to get the ingredients listed on the categories. So I'm saying any 3 kinds of seeds, okay? So they can be beans or peas or sunflowers or grass or moss or birdseed. I'm really trying to be as flexible as possible because our availability really crashed a couple of weeks ago when they pulled all the summer stock out of the stores, okay? So I'm a fan of moss because you can just go out into the street and scrape a little bit off the sidewalk and it's free. Grass seed, a lot of people have some grass seed to fill in the dead spots of your lawn, okay? Sunflowers and beans you can get at the grocery store, super easy and super inexpensive as well. Just make sure they haven't been roasted or anything that would kill the seed growth. All right, so bottles, once again, mine were free out of the recycling bin, okay? So no cost here for mine, also no waste. All right, now if you don't have 3 identical bottles sitting in your recycling bin, then you can go to the dollar store and you can get those super big soda bottles or the biggest water bottles that will fit inside each other, okay? You don't want anything that is like a milk jug that has a handle that will stop the nesting of the bottles, okay? But those are the different solutions. So you might have to go to the bottle store or dollar store. Again, your best bet is the recycling bin. Okay, so I have seeds, and these are the ones I used. I also found a couple of rocks. There are 2 rocks that are going to be useful to monitor letting water through, but keeping the dirt from falling down one to the next. Okay, and then I had my tools. Once again, anytime you use a knife or a cutting tool, you have to get your parents' permission and supervision. Okay, and then the clear tapes can play an important role here later. All right, so you're cutting this with your parent permission. The first 2 bottles you cut the very bottoms off of, and then the last bottle you're going to cut the top off of. Okay, I started these with a box cutter, you'll see in the video, and then I end up using scissors at the end. Okay, I also make 1/4 cut. All right, if we're looking at here, I made 1 little cut so that this cone fits within this column. Okay, and then you put your rock in the very bottom, and then you put your soil and you mix your seeds in, following the directions of whatever seed packets you buy. Okay, or if you have moss, you just kind of put it on top. All right, and then you make your way down your 3 layers. Okay, so here's the picture of what I ended up with this morning. Okay, I capped it. I made sure this bottommost layer of water does not go over where it was cut. That would be the big mess. So add your water slowly. You can add more water later if you see you don't have enough. Okay, and again, I used packing tape to try to keep it as watertight as possible. Okay, so here we see a close-up. That's the marine layer, or the freshwater layer, rather. You can see one of the seeds is kind of floating up there. Okay, the next one, we're looking at the grasslands. We can also see kind of the rocks and the soil from our desert. And then finally, we have the desert one. Right now, it's looking pretty good because it all had lots of water. We'll see what it looks like over the next 3 weeks. Okay, so there's the YouTube link. You're gonna go here and get a better view of the YouTube video. Okay, and then the handout. Okay, I did modify, I had all this great instructions. If you got these seeds, that would be great. Okay, if you get beans, make sure you follow the instructions and you soak them. I suggest overnight before planting them. And then I suggest moss, but again, you can get whatever you find in the store or whatever you have available from your neighbors or your family or the sidewalk. Okay, we're just looking for 3 different things to try to measure the the diversity and health of the different biomes. Okay, all right. So with that, your assignment is by Sunday night, send me a picture of your column. Okay, and then we'll have 3 weeks of assignments tied to this picture or this object. All right, and with that, I hope this recorded better with better sound than some of my production here today, and that you have a good day.